My brother knocked out our aunt, and I couldn't stop laughing. Take that, you evil wench. That's exactly what I heard before I entered the room. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My 8-year-old brother Ethan stood triumphantly over our Aunt Bellatrix, who was sprawled on the living room floor clutching her forehead. A nasty red mark was already forming where, apparently, my brother's skull had made contact with hers. Ethan turned to me with the biggest smile I'd ever seen on his freckled face and said, "I defeated the enemy, sis! The witch has fallen!" He pumped his small fist in the air while Aunt Bellatrix groaned and tried to sit up, her perfectly styled blonde hair now completely disheveled. The scene erupted into chaos as Aunt Bellatrix recovered enough to start shrieking. "You little street thug! Are you crazy? How dare you attack me like that? This child should be sent to an asylum!" She pointed a manicured finger at Ethan, who seemed completely unbothered by her rage. "I'm calling the police! I'm calling child services! This is assault!" I rushed to help her up, but she slapped my hand away. "Don't touch me! You've raised a monster! Both of you! Living in this house like you deserve it!" My confusion was mounting as Ethan started doing what looked like a victory dance. "I'll get a huge reward chest for defending my territory from the witch," he announced. "The Phantom told me she was the real enemy." I grabbed his shoulders. "Ethan, what Phantom? What are you talking about?" He looked at me with those innocent green eyes. "The one that's been warning me about the evil witch who wants to steal our castle." "Ethan, please, this is serious," I said, kneeling down to his level while Aunt Bellatrix struggled to her feet, still clutching her head. "You know how Aunt Bellatrix has always been jealous of our big house, right?" Ethan said, suddenly sounding much older than his 8 years. "She says things like it should have been her who inherited it, and not us." I nodded slowly, remembering the bitter comments at every family gathering since Mom and Dad died and left us the house 2 years ago. "What I say is true," Aunt Bellatrix spat out. "This house should have been mine. You two don't deserve it. A 22-year-old playing house with her little brother like you knows anything about maintaining family legacy?" Ethan smiled like this was what he'd been waiting for, and then his expression grew serious. "Well, I was running around chasing an evil phantom that's been haunting the house. You know, the one that keeps making those weird noises in the walls." I was about to correct him about the old pipes, but he kept talking. "And that's when I saw Aunt Bellatrix near the fireplace." The room suddenly felt colder. "She was holding newspapers, sis. Lots of newspapers. And that bottle of the smelly stuff Dad used to use for the lawnmower." My blood turned to ice as I looked at the fireplace. Sure enough, there was a pile of crumpled newspapers hastily shoved behind the iron grate, and the unmistakable smell of gasoline hung in the air. "She was trying to light matches," Ethan said quietly, "but her hands were shaking really bad." So I remembered what they taught us in football practice. When someone's about to do something really bad to your team, you stop them. Coach says a good defense is the best offense. So I ran at her full speed, and boom, he clapped his hands together, headbutt, just like the knights do to break down castle doors. I turned to stare at Aunt Bellatrix, whose face had gone from red with rage to white with fear. "You were going to burn down our house?" My voice came out as a whisper. "With us in it?" The silence was deafening. Aunt Bellatrix's eyes darted between us and the door. "You can't prove anything," she stammered. "It's the word of a delusional child against mine." But we could all see the evidence. The newspapers, the gas can partially hidden behind the armchair, the box of matches scattered on the floor. Aunt Bellatrix suddenly made a break for the front door, her heels clicking frantically on the hardwood floor. "You can't prove anything!" she shrieked again, but in her panic and with her vision still blurry from the head impact, she didn't see Ethan's skateboard lying in the hallway. Her heel caught the edge, sending her careening forward, and then her head slammed forehead first into the wall, knocking her out for the second time today. I stood in shock as Ethan said, "The wench is slain. Amen."